I want to talk to you about what I think happens very often when the rider finally achieves her goal. She gets the horse on the bit, and I'm talking about the genuine article here, not just she gets his head down. So she feels his back come up, she feels him reach into the rein, she feels the difference in the quality of his movement. It feels like she's riding butter. She's just thrilled, excited, and it's wonderful. And she thought she was going to ascend into heaven and stay there. But the truth is, it's a momentary visitation. She had it, and it's gone. And most people at that point are incredibly disappointed, but it's virtually always how it happens. So one of the scenarios is this happens, and the rider goes, I did it, look, I did it. And when she does that, what she's actually doing at that point is talking to herself about it, rather than making it happen. So at that point, she's absented herself from the action. As far as the horse is concerned, she's taken her brain away from that moment-to-moment interaction with him, and she's talking to herself inside her head rather than noticing, being in the moment, feeling what's happening. So here's scenario number 2. The horse comes up through his back, he reaches into the rein, the rider's very excited, and she goes, oh, good boy, and gives everything away in a give away the rein, probably give away her body, maybe she kind of flops and tips forward, and she thinks that even though she does something different, the horse should stay the same. She thinks she's rewarding him and doing exactly the right thing, and the horse kind of goes, well, he fell apart. And so the horse falls apart. So I often suggest to people, as it happens, in that moment, if I'm there coaching them, I will say to them, keep doing what you're doing. Make it again. Make it again. Make it again. Make it again. So you don't take yourself out of the action by talking inside your head about how wonderful it is, and you don't take yourself out of the action by falling to bits, but actually thinking you're rewarding your horse. You're there, as it were, making a framework around him, and you just keep making that same framework. So let's think of this framework idea. Let's suppose that there's a correct way for horse and rider to fit together. The horse's back has come up, the rider's weight and organization is just right, and metaphorically, it's a bit like 2 pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. So I'm going to put my fingers together like this, suggesting the jigsaw puzzleness of it. So they've got that rightness, and then the horse sees something or something changes, and the horse just goes, well, enough of that, and he changes his jigsaw puzzle piece shape. Very often, the rider won't even know she did it, but she colluded with that change of shape. For her body, that's the path of least resistance. He changed his shape, she changed hers. What that probably means in reality is his ears came back towards her chin, he pushes back at her, her back becomes a hollow, she falls back down the hole. She will do it, like all of us, as a chain that's as strong as its weakest link. She might fall back in a hollow-backed way, in a round-back way, in a tip-forward way, in a tip-backwards way. She'll probably combine 2 of those ways. What happens to the hinge in her hip joint in lean forward or lean back, and what happens to the hinge in her mid-back in round her back or hollow her back. So she colluded with the horse, and she changed her jigsaw shape. What would happen with a skilled rider is the rider would get to that place and the horse would go, I want to change my shape. And the rider would say, well, that's a shame, because the rider doesn't budge. The rider is still there making the same jigsaw shape. And if she can do that in an organized way, she gives the horse no choice but to keep that shape underneath her. And there's a lot more resilience, awareness, feel and understanding involved in keeping that shape rather than colluding with the horse. The reality is you are going to distort and you are going to collude with the horse until you go through the learning stage with a lot of got it, lost it, got it, lost it, got it, lost it, got it, lost it. And of course, the moment there's a lost it, most people want to go, get his head down, get back to got it. But the reality is that that lost it moment contains a lot of information about what happened in his body and happened in yours, just as the got it moment contains a lot of information about what happens in his body and what happens in yours. And once you're aware enough and noticing enough to realize when I do this, he does that. When I bear down more, his head and neck reaches away. When I kneel more and get my weight more down through my thighs, his back comes up. When he hollows, I round my back and topple backwards. Once you begin to figure those out and become resilient enough, you get the learning to keep your jigsaw shape whatever, and to keep going, make it again, make it again, make it again, make it again, even when that involves keeping your rightness even in the face of the horse's wrongness. So instead of colluding with him, you maintain your framework. I love the quote. It's from Lars Cederholm many years ago, when he said, the rider's role is to be a framework around the horse rather than a load on the top of the horse. When you have that framework, you have the awareness and you have the resilience. You invite the horse to take up a shape around you, and you get more and more able to just make that shape in a way that's no big deal. Have fun with this idea. Good luck in your riding. The more aware you become of those moment-to-moment changes, the more you really can live the love that you have for your horse.